Hello, welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, and today I'm going to be talking about, voice actors are people too. I know at this point everybody knows that there's an actor behind their favorite or maybe even a couple of favorite cartoon characters, but how many people actually know the voice actors like they know regular actors? How many people know who Tom Cruise is without ever seeing a Tom Cruise movie? I've never been a Tom Cruise fan, but I've known who he is my whole life. And right now you're probably thinking, we know who the voice actors are, we know who Walt Disney is, we know who Mark Hamill is. And yeah, it's true that they are famous for voice acting, but they're also famous for a lot of other things too. Would you really know who Mark Hamill was if he wasn't also Luke Skywalker? And would you know who Walt Disney was if there wasn't Disney World and Walt Disney Studios and he wasn't on all of this merchandise? I bet a lot of you have never seen a movie with this guy in it, but you probably recognize him. But I show you a picture of this guy, and how many of you know him? Or what about this one? Or what about this one? All three of these are debatably the most famous, best voice actors of all time, and most of you didn't recognize any of them. And you can say, well, duh, they're not on screen, so we don't see them, so we don't recognize them. But what about their names? They're still being cast in the pictures. When I say Frank Welker, what comes to your mind? Or Jim Cummings, or Don Messick? A lot of you will recognize names like Tom Kenny because he's been all over YouTube lately, but how many of you know the name Frank Welker? Frank Welker is debatably the best voice actor of all time. Way back in 1969, he voiced Freddy in Scooby-Doo. Now he even voices Scooby-Doo. You've all seen that, right?
I've been doing the voice of Freddie Jones for 40 years. And in the last 10 years, I've been doing the voice of Scooby-Doo.
Look out! He also does a million other voices and even does sound effects like the roars in The Lion King. You hear a lion roaring in that movie? That's Frank Welker. Yet you probably didn't even know who I was talking about a minute ago. There's no press about this guy. He's just quietly been the best at it of all time in the background. Or how about Andy Serkis? You know, Gollum? Most of you didn't even know what he looked like until he was in Black Panther. He's just been in the background doing Gollum, playing monkeys and King Kong. He's phenomenal at his job. It's not quite voice acting, but you get the idea. The job of an actor is to be unrecognizable in his role. He's playing a character, not being himself. So debatably, the more unrecognizable you are, the better you are as an actor. Now, voice actors do have the benefit of being behind a cartoon character, but their voices are so varied and so good, you'd have no idea that Winnie the Pooh is also this guard.
I think it goes something like this, but I can only do it for a small smackerel of honey.
I take my orders directly from Jafar, princess.
That's good acting. But nobody knows who Jim Cummings is, but everybody knows who Tom Hanks is. And Tom Hanks in every role is Tom Hanks. He's just Tom Hanks. He's the same guy every time. Nothing in particular against Tom Hanks, but why do we consider him one of the greatest actors of all time when people like Frank Welker nobody even knows exists? Nobody even knows it's him behind the role. That's phenomenal. That's what acting is supposed to be, being somebody other than who you really are. And yeah, I get it, a lot of actors get typecast and so they play the same kind of role over and over and over again, but there's still subtleties that you can make them different. And voice actors get typecast too, yet they still are able to break the mold. Not to mention recreate characters made famous by somebody else, and it goes over seamlessly a lot of the time. How many of you knew that this wasn't actually also this?
Thought of anything, have you? No, neither have I. Think.
Both Winnie the Poohs are so similar that nobody's ever complained about it. If an acting performance in real life was that similar and that spot on, he would get every Oscar and every Golden Globe possible. When was the last time you saw Frank Welker get a Golden Globe or an Oscar? When was the last time you saw any voice actor ever get any recognition at all? I could go on and on about this and debate the fact that voice actors are actually better actors than the physical ones, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's hard to actually compare them because they're two completely different things. But we have to recognize that they are at least just as talented and are being completely ignored. You might know one or two of your favorite voice actors, 5 if you're lucky, but how many actors do you know? I know who they are because they've been around for so long and everybody talks about them. But nobody's talking about Frank Welker, who is debatably the best voice actor of all time, who happens to be working in my generation. Nobody cares. You see it all the time when regular Hollywood actors take on a voice acting role. They say, this is harder than anything I've ever had to do before. Well, what about the people that do that every day? Why does only a handful of them get recognized when there are thousands upon thousands of actors that get recognized every day? Even if they've played just one small role on Stranger Things, everybody freaks out about them. But if the guy who plays Patrick Star was walking around in public, most of you wouldn't take a second look. Probably not even a first. But God forbid Tom Holland is in public, because he's phenomenal. Oh God. I just dug myself a hole. I have nothing against actual actors. I don't. You know, I love movies, I love actors, I've talked about them so much. My point is, there's a whole group that we're just flat out ignoring for no good reason. So I don't know where we go from here. Do we write a letter to Hollywood or to our senators about this? No. But maybe you should just take some time to appreciate your personal favorite voice actor, character actor, or whoever goes unnoticed in Hollywood. There's a lot of people putting in hard work every day that just get flat out ignored. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I'm Simon from Simon's Rants, and that was my rant for today.